Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of the New Patient Group Podcast. Brian Wright here. Hope you are doing great and coming off a wonderful weekend. Have a great announcement. We have Invisalign Summit coming up in Vegas. It's right around the corner, and want to make sure everybody knows that I will be speaking there. It's a big honor because I am the only non-clinical person that has the honor of being invited to speak there. It's going to be an amazing topic all around the existing patient experience, reducing appointment times while enhancing patient experience, increasing patient referrals, all about our message of how do you create fans, not customers? How do you create fans, not patients? And it goes well beyond the food, if you will, at a restaurant, if they want fans. Just like in your practice, it goes well beyond the final clinical result. It's really all the intangibles, the non-clinical things that go into when they show up to their appointment. How does it go? How are you using video marketing? How are your assistants speaking chairside? How are you enhancing compliance by teaching assistants very unique sales and hospitality fundamentals? We really reimagine the entire existing patient experience, and it skyrockets referrals, it skyrockets 5-star reviews, video testimonials. Even the GPs will start sending you more business. And we have a really cool one for you that I'm going to be talking about on stage, and I can't wait to see everybody there. So let's pack the house. Podcast listeners, make sure to come up and introduce yourselves. Let's have a great audience. We'll have a great time together. I get in Thursday nightish, right around there. I'll be all day. I'll be there all day Friday. Also leaving Saturday morning. So if you want to get a cocktail, go to dinner, just catch up, talk business on Friday. Make sure to come and find me. Until then, we'll see everybody then. And let's get back to another edition of the New Patient Group Podcast.
Welcome aboard the New Patient Group flight deck. Less chaos. Check. Less stress. Check. Less advertising costs. Check. More personal and financial freedom. Check. All right, business checklist completed. Let the takeoff roll begin. Welcome to Season 7 of the New Patient Group Audio Experience, a podcast dedicated to forward-thinking doctors wanting to learn innovative ways to run their business today so your practice can achieve new heights tomorrow. And now your host. He's the founder and CEO of New Patient Group, managing partner of Wright, and a trusted motivational speaker for Invisalign, Orthophi, and others. Brian Wright.
Hey, New Patient Group and Wright Chat Nation. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. Brian Wright here. Welcome into another edition of the New Patient Group Podcast. Hope you are doing great out there. People watching on YouTube, hey there, appreciate your support. Thumb this up for us. Share this with your friends and colleagues. Get some dialogue going with some comments down there. We'd highly appreciate it. If you're listening on all the major audio experiences out there, hey there to you too. As always, please give us a nice 5-star review. Really help us out, and share this with your friends and colleagues as well. Going to be starting a new series today, and I like this. You know, I've said it, we're pretty deep now into the New Patient Group, the new format, but it's still, you know, compared to the many seasons we've been doing this, it's still new. And I love it because you can just take these little drips here and there and create these series. And this is another one that I'm going to be doing. It's not going to be a series that's in order, but it is going to be an ongoing podcast as I see things. And I have plenty of notes and ideas already to create these. And as today is part 1, it's going to be how your clinical brain, how your pursuit of perfection is sabotaging your business, is sabotaging your entrepreneur success. And make no mistake about it, this is a real thing. I see as part 1 today that we're going to be diving in, I see a real disconnect between, we'll call it the left brain, right brain today. We'll call it the left brain, the clinical, the right brain, the business, the entrepreneur. And they're at odds all the time inside your practices out there because, as you know, one of the key traits of successful entrepreneurs is speed of implementation. Several podcasts or ones that I've referenced this in the past, and plenty of more podcasts that'll be on that exact topic, is speed of implementation. The quicker to screw it up, the better. Not because you quit, because you figure out the screw ups, you communicate as a team, you role play the scenarios, you let it pan out. And then by the time that you've got it perfected, or at least close to that, the other person hasn't even implemented it yet because they're trying to get it all perfect behind the scenes. Right? And that is never how you run a business. That is one of the worst ways you can run a business, and that is one of the things the corporations can get away with, but you as a small business owner, you are dead if that's how you run it, all right? You cannot run it. You have to be the first to implement. You can't run pilots and tests and all these things corporations do. You cannot do that as a small business owner. Speed of implementation. But then you've got this clinical brain that is fighting that entrepreneur, saying, no, we can't do this. We've got to perfect it, just like you would on clinical. Like if you're implementing a brand new knee surgery, right? A new ACL technique, or for many of you out there, orthodontists, you're switching to a different type of bracket system, maybe more digital, whatever it may be. Or you're taking on a clear aligner case. It's a really tough case for the first time. And your brains, clinically, you're not going, okay, the faster I dump into this and screw it up, the better, right? Hopefully that's not what you're thinking, right? You've got to take your time. You've got to get your proper CE. You do have to perfect it in the sense that you feel confident that maybe while not perfect, you're going to do a good job as a clinician and have that come out and benefit the patient in their favor. The challenge, and this is a real problem that many of you face out there, is that mentality will crush your business. And the business mentality can crush your clinical reputation at the same time. So you say, how do you balance these? And you've got to balance them being very, very careful that you provide that pursuit of perfection, that mindset to the clinical side of your business. Now, even that side, you can overthink it. And you can, if you want to do more clear aligners, but you're not clinically confident, you may say to yourself, oh God, there's a patient in my chair. I want to tell him clear aligners, but I don't know how to knock it out with that case. So you default to what you've always done, braces. Right? At some point, you do have to just do a case. Right? But leading up to that, like get some CE. And the beauty is that if you just jump into that case, new patient group customers, this is just in our mastermind. Like we have tons of high producing, big name clear aligner practices out there that'll walk and guide you through that. So you kind of have clinical coaches just being a part of our mastermind group out there. But you get the point on how one can screw the other. And I want to start today with giving you an example of exactly what I mean. So I was in a practice many years ago, and I'm sitting in there, and one of the first things we do with our private clients is I go in, we go through employee questionnaires and roundtable discussions, and it's a lot of really positive stuff. A lot of advancement is made day one. In the second half of the day, I sit and watch. I hang out in the exam room and take notes and be my goofy self with the patient and all of that. And then I watch the doctor exam, and, time and time again, you kind of see the same, sales mistakes, the same experience mistakes, presentation mistakes. So you kind of assume them, but every now and then you see something that you haven't seen before. And this was one that I hadn't seen before leading up to that, is that, a big part of what we teach in the exam is how to use the iTero machine, whatever scanner you have, how to use all the tech to be a tech-forward showcase practice, and how to use the feature, when to use the feature, how to verbalize what feature you have up, what is your presentation, all of that stuff, and how do you choreograph that? And really, there's like 5 or 6 different types of exams all of you face, and that's a great on-demand course that we have that all of you should buy. If you're not a customer, you should get that very advanced digital workflow Dr. TC exam course that teaches you how to personalize each type of exam based on what you have in front of you, because there's different scenarios. So I'm sitting in there and I'm listening to the TC, and TC is one of the biggest things TC struggle with is what we call discovery. It's the get to know. It's digging into the life. It's what any good salesperson does is ask questions, get the prospect to talk, get the prospect to talk about themselves. And what does life look like? And what do they do for work? And is there is there a dad involved as an example? Okay, kiddo, what do you do? And really digging into life to create this story of how busy, how chaotic their life is. And also find out just the emotional side of things, if people are being bullied and things like that. Well, TC's really struggled with that, and so did this one. So when she left to go get the doctor, I became the TC. And what I found out, and I actually had the girl in tears by the time the doctor walked in because of the questions I was asking her. She worked at Walmart and had been bullied her whole life and continues as an adult to be bullied. And she has no confidence and she doesn't. And this is something all of you need to remember. People love to talk numbers and marketing and all that. Really the reason you really should be getting better with self-improvement, learning how to sell and stuff like that better is because don't you want to be the place that would change a girl's life? Like, don't you want to be the place to change this girl's life instead of her going somewhere else? And hopefully that answer is yes, because you could make a huge impact on a person like this. They're scared to interview because they have no confidence, been bullied their whole life. And she's basically just telling me, like, I'm planning on just giving up in life. Like, this just doesn't seem to be for me and I don't want to do it. And, blah, 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 the whole story. And I feel horrible for her. And by asking these questions, though, I got the emotional side to come out of her. And what I knew at that point, so when they brought up the scanner and showed her the outcome simulation was, and it doesn't always do this, but it was really good. And she was clinically as jacked up as you can possibly imagine. It was the very, very bad scenario. So not being a clinician, but being around great ones for so many years now, I'm looking at that and I'm going, I think, in my mind, of course I'm saying this, I think that the only way you're going to get this girl to that outcome, she's going to have to be a surgical case. So doctor walks in and has a conversation, was personable, was really good. And then goes into, to get you to this, we're going to have to do surgery. And I know, and TC's listening, this is why discovery is so important, because I knew at that moment, before the doctor even walked in, I said to myself, if this is a surgery case, there is not a chance ever that this girl's going to get surgery before she goes on with ortho treatment. It's not going to happen. And I knew that because of the bulliness and all the tough times she's gone through. She's not going to go this, it's just not, she's going to look at it and go, well, this isn't for me. Well, sure enough, that's exactly what happened, right? She was totally turned off by the message. She said, this just isn't for me. And Doc left, and I chased him down. I said, why don't you go back in there? Do me a favor. I want you to hit the adjust outcome button, which, by the way, docs out there, is the number one sales tool you have in your practice if you know when to use it, how to use it, why to use it. It is an impactful tool that you have towards conversion. But you've got to know what you're doing. You can't be clunky with it. You've got to have the proper verbiage skills, and that is all something that we dive into in our exam course. So I tell the doctors to go in there, hit the adjust outcome button, and do me a favor. Move those teeth to where you think you can get them if she chooses not to do surgery. Right? And to his credit, he was coachable, went in there and did it. And I told him, I bet you she buys if you do that. And what happened? She bought right there with a same-day start. And the lesson here, and this is how your pursuit of clinical perfection, your clinical brain that wants everything to be so perfect, how it can sabotage your business success is that perfect to you is oftentimes not perfect to the customer you serve. This does not mean that you don't educate, right? It doesn't mean that doctor shouldn't have talked about jaw surgery, right? But that never should have been the first conversation. The first conversation has to be making sure this person is happy with what they want. And when you do that, people then, and there's plenty of podcasts in the future that will be around this topic, is that how you get people to really listen to the need is first selling them on what they truly want, understanding their lifestyle and what fits into it. Because then and only then will they listen and truly open up their ears to what it is they actually need. So it's not that you don't educate about, hey, we can make this even better. Here's how we do that, right? And then showing that simulation and then talking about jaw surgery and giving them a choice. Now, there's something called paradox of choice that I'm not going to talk to today. And it's what happens when you give clinical choices to people that have no clue what the heck they're talking about when it comes to something clinical, right? It doesn't apply when you say vanilla or cookies and cream ice cream. What do you want? Tuesday or Thursday on our schedule. What do you want? The paradox of choice, that's not what it is. People know the ice cream they like. They know their schedule. But the second you give choices to people that don't know squat outside of, hey, my friend wore braces, so that's why I'm going to use them, right? There's a way you have to give the choice. And that is going to be a podcast that is called The Paradox of Choice that will be out someday, but it is something we talk about in the exam course and with our private clients that we coach. And it's a very powerful, from a psychological standpoint, how you must give choices when really you shouldn't. Because you're giving them to people that don't know what they're talking about, but you still got to give choices because it's the right thing to do. So you still educate, but the education and the what you want as an orthodontist becomes the smaller version of the exam. The major point is selling them on what they want. And this is a perfect example. The clinical mindset wanted it to be so perfect that all the clinician could think about was surgery to get it perfect, and completely ignored what that patient really wanted. What that patient really wanted was a lifestyle change, their confidence back, not to be bullied, to get a better job, to get a higher paying job. There's so many different domino effects that you all have in people's lives. And there's still that mentality of, I'm the doctor and they're going to do what I want. Well, welcome to 2024, 2025 and beyond. You still need to educate them and tell them, but only after you've got them bought in to you being the place they want to buy from for the want that they've told you they came in for. And you can only do that if you know the lifestyle and all the discovery piece that I talk about. But the lesson is not that. The lesson is that perfect to you is not perfect to the customer you serve. Right? So this person would have walked and maybe never got orthodontic treatment, or maybe found a place that would have done what she wanted. And that's the magic of the technology you have. That's the magic of using the iTero scanner. That's the magic of understanding the features and how to use the features properly, when, speak to them, all the stuff that we teach. And he got to start because he identified the want and what this person really wanted in the lifestyle and adjusted them. And clinically, I know what you all are thinking is that, ooh, that's still hideous. But you know what? To this girl, it transformed her life. And you can never forget that. Don't let the pursuit of clinical perfection sabotage your entrepreneur and business success. This is part one. I'll be doing drips because there's tons more, right? You've got to differentiate between that clinical perfection and that speed of implementation business entrepreneur that you must have. And I know it's not easy, everybody. I hope you enjoyed today. Looking forward to more series and topics and tips on this particular topic. Don't let that clinical pursuit of perfection sabotage your business success, everybody. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.